Hi, I'm Alicia from My Work Basket. Right now on my website I have a crochet along for Tunisian Crochet Throw. The pattern's free from Lion Brand. I'd love it if you join me. If you're not interested in joining my crochet along, maybe you're just here because you want to learn how to do the Tunisian Simple Stitch. This is the most common stitch in Tunisian Crochet. Now Tunisian Crochet can be worked with any yarn. I just have a little scrap ball of worsted weight. But one of the tricks with Tunisian Crochet is the needle. A Tunisian crochet needle is longer than a normal crochet needle and has an end cap. This is actually a set from an interchangeable crochet hook set. So some of them would just be one long needle. It would look like a normal crochet needle but much longer. Usually they're about 12 to 14 inches. And you can buy those at most craft stores, yarn stores. I think they even have them at Walmart. I just happen to have a Denise crochet hook set. I love it. I've talked about it on my website a couple times. And it has these interchangeable ends to be able to do longer or bigger Tunisian crochet stitches and rows. When you do Tunisian crochet, it tends to curl a lot more than regular crochet, but you get a really nice knit looking square. You can see I have two squares and they both curled a little bit differently. You're going to use a much larger hook for Tunisian crochet than you would for regular crochet. So where this is worsted weight yarn, usually with regular crochet you'd use about a G hook or an F, something kind of wrong there. This is actually a J or an I hook. This is a J hook. You could use like an I, a K. You want to minimize curling as much as you can on your finished project. If it's really curling up, you're going to want to go up a size. And if it's really pretty floppy, you could afford to go down a size if it's too loose. But you're going to use a much larger hook than you would for regular crochet. I'm going to show you exactly how to do the Tunisian Simple Stitch in just a second. And we're going to create a little sample square that you can use to practice if you would like to join my crochet along or if you just want to learn Tunisian crochet. So for the Tunisian Simple Stitch, you're going to end up with one side that looks woven and one side that looks like knit stitch. It's just going to look like you did knitting. So that's how your finished sample is going to look. To do Tunisian Simple Crochet, it starts out just like regular crochet with a chain row. And for this sample stitch, I'm going to chain 10. 4. So to start it, it's going to be much like when you start regular crochet. I've got my 10 stitches here. And you're going to skip the stitch closest to the hook and go into the one next to that. And you're going to pick up your yarn and you're going to bring it through. Now usually you would go ahead and you'd complete your stitch. But with Tunisian crochet, you're going to leave that stitch on the hook. And you're going to go ahead and into the next stitch, do the same thing. Each chain you're going to go through and pick up the yarn and keep that yarn on your crochet hook. At the end of your row, you'll have 10 chains on the hook. And now, that's called pass 1. Pass 2 is going to be how you get all of these stitches off the hook. To start the second pass, you're going to yarn over and go through just one loop. You're going to yarn over again and go through 2 loops at a time, all the way across the work. And this is creating your stitch and your second pass. Through 2 stitches each time. When you get to the end, you're going to have 2 stitches and you go through both of those. Now you've created these little ladders. You're going to skip this first stitch. You only use that if you want to make an increase. So you ignore this one and go into your second ladder. For the Tunisian Simple Stitch, you're going to go under just the top part of that stitch. You're going to yarn over, pick it up, and hold that yarn on your hook. And you're going to do that all the way across. So you go across just the top line, yarn over, and pull it through. Under that top row, yarn over, pull it through. And you're going to keep all of those stitches on the hook. Again, when you get to the end, you'll have 10 stitches. At the very end, you can see the loop. There is a loop there at the end that you're going to want to go into. That's the last stitch for that row. And you're going to go through, pick up the yarn, and hold it on the hook. 10 stitches on my hook. And you're going to do the same second pass. So you're going to yarn over, go through 1 loop to get started, and then yarn over and go through 2 loops at a time all the way across to complete your row. And I'll show you one more forward pass. You're going to go under just the front loop, pick up the yarn and pull it through and leave it on the hook. And you're going to work your way back across. Go just through the top loop, pick up the yarn, pull it through. Don't forget at the end of your square to pick up this little piece and hold that on your hook. And then go back for your back pass. Every row of Tunisian crochet will have the forward pass and the back pass, and usually stitch instructions will tell you what to do for each one. Here I've done 5 rows, and as you can tell, the end of the row, well, it just doesn't look very pretty. You have these ladders instead of a nice completed stitch. Now, keeping in mind, you don't usually chain to start a new row in Tunisian crochet, and you won't this row either. What you're going to do is go under that first ladder, but you're not going to leave it on. You're going to yarn over and do a slip stitch through both stitches. So you're going to go under the ladder, yarn over, and slip through both loops on the hook. You'll do that all the way across. Go under the top ladder, yarn over, and pull through both stitches for a slip stitch. And what you'll do is create a nice even edge that doesn't leave those ladder stitches just sitting there. Just work your way across and make sure you also get that last tricky little loop at the end of the row. Slip stitch through that, and then you're ready to clip your yarn and pull it through just like you usually would. And you have a nice completed little sample square. I've just showed you the Tunisian Simple Stitch. If you've worked along with me, you've created your own little test square. If you didn't work along with me, feel free to get your yarn, get your hook, rewind the video, and just watch and work along with me as I go. And you can make your own little sample square like this. This is the Tunisian Simple Stitch again, and it's used on most Tunisian crochet projects. It's really the most common one. And be aware, every week for 9 weeks, I'm going to show you a new stitch here on my YouTube and over on my website. Next week is going to be the Tunisian crossed stitch, which is the second block you'll need for the crochet along. So if you want to join me on that crochet along, you can go over there and check it out, and I'm going to help you along every step of the way. If you're just watching the videos to learn Tunisian crochet, that's great too, and you'll still learn 9 stitches if you follow along with me. Be sure to check me out at myworkbasket.com, where I post regular patterns and videos.